to make the following announcement. Tonight's ceremony will be very crowded with people giving speeches. Even though the speeches are very short, there are a lot of them. Things may start off very slowly, but they will move very fast. You might think I'm talking really, really fast right now, and maybe you're right. And if you're older than about 40, you might think I'm talking too fast. Well, tough. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 13th First Annual Ig Nobel Prize Ceremony. Thank you. I'm Karen Hopkin, creator of the Stud Muffins of Science calendar. Thank you. The ceremony is inflicted on you by the science humor magazine Annals of Improbable Research, better known as AIR, and by the Harvard Radcliffe Science Fiction Association, better known as HRSFA, and by the Harvard Computer Society, who want to be better known, and by the Harvard Radcliffe Society of Physics students who know better than to want to be better known, and by the new book called The Ig Nobel Prizes, published by E.P. Dutton, ISBN 05259477531. We're gathered here tonight at Sanders Theater at Harvard University. The proceedings will be simultaneously presented in German
werden simultan übersetzt in Deutsch
and simultaneously presented in Turkish
Aynı anda Türkçe'ye tercüme edilecektir.
and simultaneously presented in Chinese and simultaneously presented in Japanese
日本語の同時通訳もアベラブルです。
and simultaneously presented in administrative jargon.
I will be facilitating the interface of verbal information between the performers on stage and the audience.
We begin this evening with the entrance of the Nobel laureates, the Ig Nobel Prize winners, the nano lecturers, and other ignitaries. Here they are, filing in here on the side. They're celebrities, they're beautiful people, they're multitudinous, they're still coming. Just a few more. I think we're just about there. It's musical chairs. They're almost all here now. All right. And now, introduction of the delegations, led by the exalted Grand High Panjandrum of Delegations, Louise Sacco. As we introduce each delegation, it will make its presence known by standing up and twirling in place 3 times, counterclockwise. Please greet them all with the respect that they deserve. Let's begin.
Und nun die Einführung der
In keeping with the theme of the evening, the first marching delegation is lawyers for and against tiny things. Translators? Next up, the Vicious Townies are an NGO dedicated to the spontaneous acts of improvised whimsy and the forced overthrow of the United States government. They may or may not come in peace, and they feel that it's really none of your business. The Boston Mensa Society. This is an organization for people who achieve abnormal scores on certain psychological tests.
Anormal psikolojik sonuçlar gösteren insanların olduğu bir organizasyondur. Bakmayınız.
We're happy to welcome the Mad Scientists, local 2.20222 times 10 to the minus 9th. Our next marching delegation, TEP Force 22, is dedicated to raising entropy so you don't have to. The Rochester Institute of Technology delegation could not make it tonight because they had bus trouble. As always, 3 very important Harvard student delegations join us tonight. They are the Harvard Radcliffe Society of Physics Students, the Harvard Computer Society, and the Harvard Radcliffe Science Fiction Society. Tonight also we have the Northeastern Physics Student Society, who insist it's possible to study physics south of the Charles River. And last but not least, the Museum of Bad Art. Museum in the world dedicated to the collection, preservation, exhibition, and celebration of art too bad to be ignored. Pardon me. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, literati, glitterati, and pseudo-intellectuals, may I introduce our Master of Ceremonies, the editor of the Annals of Improbable Research, Chief Airhead, Mark Abrams.
We are gathered here tonight to honor people whose achievements cannot or should not be reproduced. Every winner has done something that first makes people laugh, then makes them think. The Ig Nobel Prize ceremony is produced by the science humor magazine, The Annals of Improbable Research. It's proudly co-sponsored by the Harvard Radcliffe Science Fiction Association, the Harvard Computer Society, and by the Harvard Radcliffe Society of Physics Students. You will hear these names many times. And by the new book called The Ig Nobel Prizes, published by E.P. Dutton, ISBN 0525947531. Tonight, 10 prizes will be given. The achievements speak for themselves, all too eloquently. Now, let me introduce you to the several hundred people who are sitting here on our stage. First, our Nobel laureates. A 1993 Nobel laureate in physiology or medicine from New England Biolabs, Rich Roberts. A 1986 Nobel laureate in chemistry from Harvard University, Dudley Hirschbach. A 2001 Nobel laureate in physics from MIT, Wolfgang Ketterle. A 1976 Ig Nobel, excuse me, a 1976, I apologize, a 1976 Nobel laureate in chemistry from Harvard University, William Lipscomb. A 1990 Nobel laureate in physics, Jerome Friedman. As usual, was prevented from joining us. He appears now via the magic of audio tape and slides.
I hope all of you are enjoying this occasion as much as I am.
Thank you, Professor Friedman. Now let us meet some of the other authority figures who are on our stage. Our major domo, Gary Dreyfus. Our minor domos, Julia Lunetta, Osman Bacher, Naomi Stephen, James Mahoney, Pico Todd, Genevieve Reynolds, and Hopin Harpal Kohli. Our complexifiers, Robin Abrams, Stanley Eigen, and Tom Ulrich. Our performing scientists, Joost Bonson, Daniel Rosenberg, Natasha Rosenberg, and Saul Griffith. The human spotlights, Glittery Jim Brett and Isabel Rosenberg. The human curtain rods, Brenda Ulrich and Tom Ulrich. The official keeper of the mop, who will sweep detritus from the stage, Roy Glauber. Our command and control elements, the Ig Nobel referee, Mr. John Barrett. For those worried about sex and violence, our V-chip monitor will attempt to block anything offensive from reaching your eyes, ears, or fingertips. Here is our V-chip monitor, prominent New York attorney William J. Maloney. Mr. Maloney, will you please demonstrate your displeasure? Thank you. As you know, we used to have a problem at this ceremony. Many of the speakers would exceed their allotted time. Here's how we now solve that problem. First, please welcome the charming, delightful, ever so cute Miss Sweetie Poo. Miss Sweetie Poo is 8 years old. Miss Sweetie Poo, please demonstrate what you'll do when a speaker exceeds his or her allotted time.
Please stop. I'm bored. Please stop. I'm bored. Please stop. I'm bored.
Thank you, Miss Sweetie Poo.
Please stop.
Thank you, Miss Sweetie Poo.
Please stop.
Thank you, Miss Sweetie. Thank you, Miss Sweetie Poo. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Sweetie Poo.
I'm bored.
Thank you. On with the introductions. Our house musicians, the group The Ig Leaves, Nick Karsteyu and Mark Williamson. Our Ig Nobel operatic pianist, Greg Neal. There are other important people up here. You will meet them later. We're being telecast live on the internet thanks to generous support from the Harvard Extension School. The ceremony will later be broadcast on National Public Radio's Talk of the Nation Science Friday with Ira Flato on the day after Thanksgiving. And now it is my honor to introduce our presiding monarchs. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the King and Queen. That means get up. Seated in including His Majesty. We seem to be missing our Queen. Would anyone here like to be Queen? Well, if one of you come up right now, you can be... And now, Miriam Bloom will deliver the traditional Ig Nobel Welcome, Welcome speech.
Welcome. Welcome.
The editors of the Annals of Improbable Research have chosen a theme for this year's ceremony. This year's theme is nano. Nano is a measure of size, 1/1000th the size of a standard unit of time, length, volume, or whatever. Thus, in science jargon, a nanosecond is 10 to the minus 9th seconds. Nanometer is 10 to the minus 9th meters. A nanoliter is 10 to the minus 9th liters, and so forth. Nano is almost unthinkably small. And these days, nano is très fashionable. Nano, nano, nano. It's become something to shout about. To introduce our theme of nano, or at least to say hello, here is our keynote speaker. Now, many of you are familiar with Murphy's Law, the familiar law of nature, which says that if something can go wrong, it will go wrong, including the thing that was supposed to go wrong. Many of you are familiar with Murphy's Law, the familiar law of nature, which says that if anything can go wrong, it will go wrong, including the thing that was scheduled to go wrong now. Including the thing that was scheduled to go wrong about 20 seconds ago. Please welcome our keynote speaker. He is the son of the Murphy of Murphy's Law. Please welcome Edward A. Murphy III.
Distinguished Nobel Prize laureates, professors, students, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. As Mark just told you, I am Edward Murphy III. My father was Edward Murphy Jr., the Murphy of Murphy's Law. Regrettably, my father passed away 13 years ago, or I'm sure he would have been here tonight in person. Before I agreed to do this, I made them promise that the awards and the ceremony itself this year would be different. You know, more serious, more sedate, dignified. I can see I was seriously misled. Or perhaps something has gone wrong. Anyway, I would like to say a few words about Murphy's Law, if only to straighten the record, which has become slightly crooked on account of the internet. I'm not going into the story of the origin of Murphy's Law. That's something I will be speaking about tomorrow, or excuse me, it's Saturday at MIT. What I will tell you is that there are numerous tellings of the story which are incorrect. The Random House Dictionary, 2nd edition, says that Murphy's Law is, and I quote, a facetious proposition that, if something can go wrong, it will. This is the popular expression of the law, much to my father's chagrin. Many years after the initial utterance that became Murphy's Law, my father wrote down what he believed Murphy's Law should be. And it is, if there are 2 or more ways to do something, and one of those ways can result in a catastrophe, someone will do it. He never intended that there should be a sense of fatalism or predestination attached to Murphy's Law. My father would have urged all of you to take the law seriously enough to guide and shape research, to acknowledge the certainty of failure as a first step in research to prevent its effects. This means that the destructive effects of Murphy's Law are not preordained, but instead are preventable. Things left to chance will fail some of the time. It is therefore the task of the researcher to isolate trouble spots ahead of time in order to prevent failure. Murphy's Law is not, as some even in the scientific and academic community have suggested, a law of probability. To the extent that things which will result in failure or disaster can be avoided, someone who sees those things and plans around them can turn circumstances in his or her favor. A positive example of such planning was seen recently in the preparation for disaster at Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, one of the tenants of the World Trade Center. A man named Rick Rescorla was the president of security at Dean Witter in its New York office. In New York, Dean Witter was located on 30 floors of the South Tower of the World Trade Center, floors 44 through 74, and several floors of World Trade Center Building 5. They had a total of 3,700 employees at the World Trade Center on September 11th. As security chief, Mr. Rescorla believed that his job required him to think like a terrorist. Before the 1993 bombing at the World Trade Center, he did a survey of the building and concluded that a bomb in the basement could cause severe damage to the building. When a bomb actually did explode, even though it caused little damage to the office part of the building, Mr. Rescorla concluded that the same terrorist would try again. At first, he told Dean Witter management that they should move offices. They did not want to do that because they had several years left on their lease. So he devised an evacuation plan and put the employees through strenuous drills, marching them down the stairs while he followed behind them on a bullhorn, yelling at them to keep moving. Rescorla did these drills routinely. On September 11th, when the first plane hit the North Tower, he immediately put his evacuation plan into effect, taking up the bullhorn and telling all of the employees to drop what they were doing and get out of the building. What was the result? Of 3,700 employees, only 6 were lost. Tragically and almost unbelievably, Mr. Rescorla himself did not make it. Why? He went back after getting out to check on 3 employees that he didn't see outside the building. This is more than just a story of planning or foresight or even heroism. It's the story of how someone who was determined to avoid the effect of failure prepared for it and achieved the result desired. That is the essence of Murphy's Law. I don't have anything to say about nano except that it's not, it's definitely not your grandmother or a nursemaid or even the guy on television that McGarrett told to book the criminals. So I will leave the podium to Mark. Thank you very much.
Now, here's a word about healthcare from a longtime sponsor of the Ig Nobel Prize ceremony, everyone's favorite healthcare provider, HMO, no.
Hello. I'm Knuckles Weinstein, the marketing director for HMO No. Now, here's a word about healthcare and nanotechnology from HMO No.
Nobody likes to get big medical bills. That's why HMO No is using nanotechnology to shrink your medical bills. No more big bills. We print your medical bills on tiny sheets of paper, each smaller than a human hair. So, when your bills arrive in the mail, you won't have bad news staring you in the face.
Surcharges apply, penalty fees apply to all overdue bills.
HMO No. Oh no!
Because we care about you.
And your pocketbook.
Now, just before we begin announcing this year's Ig Nobel Prize winners, here is a musical treat, the world premiere of a new nano opera called Adam and Eve. Those of you listening on radio can read the words on our website, www.improbable.com. There are 4 acts, 1 now, 3 later. The opera stars Margot Button, Jason McStutes, and Tara Hunt, pianist Greg Neal, and the Nobel laureates and other scientists on our stage. Now here is our narrator, Karen Hopkin.
Thank you, Mark. Tonight's opera is a love story. Eve is a beautiful young scientist who falls in love with Atom. Atom is an oxygen atom. There are some obvious difficulties to be overcome. Staging this opera presented some difficulty for us. We were unable to find an experienced singer who is small enough to play the role of Atom. And so we'll make do with Jason McStutes. Jason, can you come out here and take a bow, please? Now, you have to imagine that Jason is actually the size of an oxygen atom. Our other main character, Eve, will be played by Margot Button. Margot, will you please come out here and take a bow? Margot is exactly the right size to play a beautiful scientist. Please imagine that Margot is actually the size you see here. And now we begin the opera. Adam is a poor, solitary atom who yearns for companionship and true love. One day, Adam feels something strange and wonderful. Someone is looking at him through a scanning probe microscope. Perhaps, Adam wonders, perhaps that someone could be the woman of his dreams. Let's join little Atom now as this thought enters his tiny mind.
It's elementary, I know I'm just an atom down in the lowest stratum of humblest society. From what I learned in school, I know I should be bonding. My parents are desponding because I'm not a molecule. My future seems so very minuscule. What if I dream of bigger things? They will object. Oh, sorrow. They say I'm made enormous source. I dream of can we connect tomorrow? Oh, a woman's love is just what I have wanted, but women are on such a bigger scale that a nanoscopic guy can well be daunted. But somehow I don't think that I shall fail. You see that I don't have a massive body. Yes, it's true that what I've got is pretty crude. 8 protons may seem far from being gaudy by 30 orders more or less of magnitude. My unseen love may be looking at me through some big microscope. If she's not a he, I'm sure that she is excited at what little she can see. At least that is what I hope. I feel her gaze in a glancing way, but how can she really know that of all the zillion little dots that in that crowd there is standing proud one who has the hearts for her, though he's just a little schmo. No wandering atom I, now that I have caught snatches of who my perfect match is, this very eve I will try somehow to catch this gigantic lady's eye. This lady's eye.
Jason McStutes. Those who have won an Ig Nobel Prize have a standing invitation to return to the ceremony and take a bow. It is my honor to present 2 former winners. First, the winner of the 1996 Ig Nobel Art Prize for creating the plastic pink flamingo. Here is Don Featherstone and his wife Nancy Featherstone.
I'm very glad to see that Poor Taste is still here.
And so are we.
Last year, the Takara Company and several collaborating scientists won the Ig Nobel Peace Prize for promoting peace and harmony between the species by inventing Bowlingual, a computer-based automatic dog-to-human language translation device. Here is one of the co-inventors of Bowlingual from the Takara Company, Masahiko Kajita.
こんにちは。おかげさまで日本でいっぱい売れました。儲かりました。Thank you very much.
He says, thank you very much to the Nobel Prize because it was the first time that Bowlingual was internationally recognized, and we made a lot of money from that. Thank you. Just as a thanks, he'd like to give a gift. Quick,
They have brought a Bowlingual for each of the Nobel laureates.
We have it like dogs.
I hope it's good for tax.
Use it in good health, gentlemen. Now, let's get it over with. Ladies and gentlemen, the awarding of the 2003 Ig Nobel Prizes. We are giving out 10 prizes. The winners come from nations on 4 continents. This year's winners have truly earned their prizes. Karen, tell them what they've won.
Mark, this year, each winner will receive an Ig Nobel Prize.
What else?
A piece of paper saying they've won an Ig Nobel Prize.
And sign.
Oh, it's signed by the Nobel laureates.
What else?
Not a blessed thing.
How wonderful. Thank you, Karen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the coveted Ig Nobel Prize. This year, it is a bar of solid gold, 1 nanometer long. What you see here is a transparent plastic box. The gold bar is somewhere inside. And now, our winners. First, the Engineering Prize. The Ig Nobel Engineering Prize is presented to the late John Paul Stapp, the late Edward A. Murphy Jr., and George Nichols for jointly giving birth in 1949 to Murphy's Law, the basic engineering principle that if there are 2 or more ways to do something, and one of those ways can result in a catastrophe, someone will do it. Or, in other words, if anything can go wrong, it will. This acceptance speech will be in 3 parts. First, author Nick Spark accepting on behalf of John Paul Stapp's widow, Lily. Then Ed Murphy accepting on behalf of his father. And then George Nichols accepting via audio tape. Here is author Nick Spark.
All right, see, already something has gone wrong. Which was, I actually wasn't sure I was going to even make it this far when one investigates the law. Anyway, I am Nick Spark, and I wrote an article in the Annals of Improbable Research about the origins of Murphy's Law, which some of you may have read, although my copy showed up missing 4 pages. So, anyway, I'm here accepting tonight for Colonel John Paul Stapp on behalf of his wife, Lily. Colonel Stapp was a famed biomechanics researcher who risked his life to make seatbelts in American automobiles a reality. And he was also a famous wit. And he said things such as Stapp's ironical paradox, the universal aptitude for ineptitude makes any human accomplishment an incredible miracle. He also said the malignant perversity of inanimate objects rivals the demonic havoc of catastrophic events in producing human frustration. And he may or may not have been responsible for Murphy's Law, or naming Murphy's Law, I should say, but from his perspective, Murphy's Law serves as a warning. Think about what might go wrong and what you can do in advance to prevent that from happening. With that in mind, I'd just like to point out that supposedly only 79% of Americans today wear seatbelts in their cars. I would urge you to do so in memory of Dr. John Paul Stapp and in defiance of Murphy's Law. Thank you.
Here is Edward A. Murphy III.
One more time. My father would have been honored to receive this award. In fact, he would have been thrilled even to be invited to an event like this. His entire career was devoted to making the results of tests probable, and so he would certainly have had a lot of fun with this anyway. He had a tireless devotion to experimentation and a relentless willingness to try again in order to achieve a result. So on his behalf, I want to thank Harvard University, the Harvard Computer Society, Harvard Radcliffe Science Fiction Association, the Harvard Radcliffe Society of Physics Students, and of course the Annals of Improbable Research, and Mark Abrams. Thank you.
And here, via tape recording, is George Nichols.
Greetings to the 2003 Ig Nobel Awards program. The original Murphy's Law, if it can happen, it will happen, was born by the consequence of two critical mistakes made by Murphy during the fabrication and testing of his transducers. First, he did not have a quality assurance inspection of the workmanship, and second, he did not conduct a proof test to be certain that the transducers were picking up and producing a signal proportional to the load applied to the transducers.
Nichols. The Physics Prize. The Ig Nobel Physics Prize is presented to Jack Harvey, John Culvenor, Warren Payne, Steve Cowley, Michael Lawrence, David Stewart, and Robin Williams of Australia for their irresistible report and analysis of the forces required to drag sheep over various surfaces. Here is John Culvenor.
My name's John Culvenor. I'm from Australia. I'm delighted to be here, and thanks to everyone who's given us such a, me and my family, such a warm welcome to this country. I'm really pleased to accept this award. It's a magnificent award, and really pleased to accept it on behalf of my colleagues. We did some pretty serious research into hey, I know you're finding it hard to believe, but you accept credit card?
I'm bored.
You don't accept anything else except cash?
I'm bored.
Thanks, everyone. We were going to call this research 101 Things to Do with a Sheep, but I think I have to stop now.
Now, please give your attention to Nobel laureate Dudley Hirschbach.
Please join me in a moment of science.
Medicine Prize. The Ig Nobel Medicine Prize is presented this year to Eleanor Maguire, David Gaudian, Ingrid Johnsrud, Catriona Good, John Ashburner, Richard Frakowiak, and Christopher Frith of University College London for presenting evidence that the brains of London taxi drivers are more highly developed than those of their fellow citizens. Here Ms. Eleanor McGuire.
People often say to me, never mind the science, your work really just means you get a lot of free rides in taxis. Unfortunately, that's never happened until today. For the first time in Cambridge, I got into a taxi, was chatting with a taxi driver, and he gave me 50% off my taxi fare for showing that taxi drivers are special. So I'm grateful to Cambridge for that and for this wonderful prize. Thank you.
And now Act 2 of the opera Adam and Eve. Here is our narrator, Karen Hopkin.
Back in Act 1, the little oxygen atom, intuited that someone was watching him through an atomic force microscope. Here in Act 2, we discover that that someone is Eve, a lovely scientist. For Eve, looking down through her microscope, it's love at first sight. Let's join Eve as she ogles her little atom.
Look at this oxygen atom. See him attract, see me react, see my heart run. Should we combine, or would such love be forbidden? Love that entails such different skills in sea and elephantine. Does he know I exist? If so, will he resist? Oh, the force of my nature that longs for us to have kiss. When will he ask for a date? When, oh when, why should he wait? Here's a technical question. Now how shall we copulate? How shall we mate on this oxygen atom? Well, now she wins. The answer is I will
Margot Button. The Psychology Prize. The Ig Nobel Psychology Prize this year is awarded to Gian Vittorio Caprara and Claudio Barbarinelli of the University of Rome and Philip Zimbardo of Stanford University for their discerning report, Politicians' Uniquely Simple Personalities. Here is Philip Zimbardo.
Great. Okay. On behalf of my Italian colleagues, I would like to say domo arigato gozaimashita. I am Dr. I am Dr. Z from Stanford. Thank you. And the research we did is very simple. We have found a rare exception to the big rule of 5. The big rule of 5 says when any of us judge ourselves or anyone else in the world, we use 5 personality factors. But when we judge politicians, either Italian or American, that gets reduced to the simplicity of 2. So politicians think they're complex, but in fact, they're relatively simple. And I'm sure if we judged our current president, it would probably be reduced to only 1 factor. And you can figure out what that factor is. Thank you very much.
Now, get set for something special, the Nano Lectures. We have invited several of the world's top thinkers to tell us very briefly what they are thinking about. Each Nano Lecturer will explain her or his subject twice. First, a complete technical description in 24 seconds. And then, after a brief pause, a clear summary that anyone can understand in 7 words. The 24-second time limit will be enforced by our referee, Mr. John Barrett. Mr. Barrett, do you have any advice for our Nano Lecturers?
Gentlemen, keep it clean.
Now let's have the first group of Nano Lecturers. Will the Nano Fabricators bar the doors? The first round of Nano Lectures is about to begin. The first Nano Lecture will be delivered by Professor Lena Howe of Harvard University, the first human being who slowed light to a crawl and then to a dead stop. Her topic, slow light. First, a complete technical description of the subject in 24 seconds. On your mark, get set, go.
Secret recipe for beating light on your bike: atom refrigerator, candlestick atomic beam source, Siemens law, resonant radiation pressure force, optical molasses polarization gradient, cooling 4D magnetic resonance spectroscopy, nano Kelvin, field effect transistor, avalanche breakdown, superfluid Bose-Einstein condensate, ultra high vacuum, laser illumination, polarization control, light pulse injection, entangle atoms, quantum interference, superposition, dark state, light pulse compression, superfluid shock waves. Voila!
And now a clear summary that anyone can understand in 7 words. On your mark, get set, go.
Stop light, warm up exercise, real goal, time stop.
The next Nano Lecture will be delivered by Yan Emily Yuan, a junior at Boston Latin Secondary School. Her topic, memory. First, a complete technical description of the subject in 24 seconds. On your mark, get set, go.
Investigations in neuronal and non-neuronal memory encodings are usually based on memory acquired and retained during classical conditioning techniques, or specialized approaches such as autobiographical memory priming, combined with neurobehavioral, neuropathological, and neurophysiological studies of functional anatomic correlations such as hippocampal synaptic plasticity.
And now, a clear summary that anyone can understand in 7 words. On your mark, get set, go.
Remember, this will be on the test.
The next Nano Lecture will be delivered by Professor William Lipscomb of Harvard, the 1979 Nobel laureate in chemistry. His topic, chemistry. First, a complete technical description of the subject in 24 seconds. On your mark, get set, go.
According to Tom Lehrer, hydrogen, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, air, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, potassium, scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, germanium, arsenic, selenium, bromine, rubidium, strontium, ytterbium, zirconium, niobium, molybdenum.
And now, a clear summary that anyone can understand in 7 words. On your mark, get set, go.
Cerium, praseodymium, stop him. Let him look out. What is chemistry? What is chemistry? That's 3 words. The next is courtesy of Sherlock Holmes. It says.
I'm sorry, you're out.
No, it says.
Great effort.
It says.
We have to go.
It says.
That's 972.
It says elementary, my dear Watson.
The Chemistry Prize. The Ig Nobel Chemistry Prize is awarded to Yukio Hirose of Kanazawa University for his chemical investigation of a bronze statue in the city of Kanazawa that fails to attract pigeons.
Members of audience, especially I thank you, the birds of Kanazawa, where I live, because they give me the idea for my research. And also, I am here tonight in Cambridge. Crow, I mean the blackbirds are always away from the statue at Kenrock End. The beautiful historical garden in Japan. I made copper alloy, which is the same component of the statue.
Please stop. I'm bored. Please
In future, we use the application of copper alloy in many ways to keep the bird away. Thank you.
We have a demonstration. The Literature Prize, the Ig Nobel Literature Prize, this year is awarded to John Trinkus of the Zicklin School of Business, New York City, for meticulously collecting data and publishing more than 80 detailed academic reports about specific annoyances and anomalies of daily life, such as what percentage of young people wear baseball caps with the peak facing to the rear rather than to the front, what percentage of pedestrians wear sports shoes that are white rather than some other color? What percentage of swimmers swim laps in the shallow end of a pool rather than the deep end? What percentage of automobile drivers almost, but not completely, come to a stop at one particular stop sign? What percentage of commuters carry attaché cases? What percentage of shoppers exceed the number of items permitted in a supermarket's express checkout lane? And what percentage of students dislike the taste of Brussels sprouts?
First, a few brief remarks. There's a downside, or well, there's an upside from not being the first speaker, but there's also a downside. Looks bad. Oh, here we go. Thank you to the Nano Group. My field is ethnology. I didn't know what that was for a long time. I thought that had to do with bugs. Well, they say, no, that has to do with social counting type of thing. We do lots of social counting. Things where people say, there's a lot of it. I don't know what a lot is. They say, hey, I'm not sure how much. Sometimes they say, we don't have a clue. So Trinkus goes in and says, let me get it come to kind of a number type of thing. And that's kind of what we do. The supermarkets we kind of like. We're in trouble. What a cute little girl. Thank you, Miss Talking Clock. I think I hear your mother calling. Why don't you just chill out, kid? For you. You win. You win.
This year's Ig Nobel Literature Prize is sponsored by the Times Higher Education Supplement, and thanks to the Times Higher Education Supplement, this winner will receive, in addition to his Ig Nobel Prize, a framed copy of the poem Ode to the Mammoth Cheese, written in 1884 by James McIntyre, the noted Canadian cheese poet. This copy is signed by several Nobel laureates. Now, please give your attention to Nobel laureate Wolfgang Ketterle.
Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to join us for a moment of science.
Now here's another word about healthcare from everyone's favorite healthcare provider, HMO, no.
All right. Hello, I'm still Knuckles Weinstein, and I'm still the marketing director for HMO, no. And now, here's another word about healthcare from HMO, no.
Feeling fat? Patients who want to slim down quickly will love our new HMO No Fat Buster plan. The plan features our patented fat breakup technique. Using ultrasonic technology and our fingers, we find your rolls of fat and crush them. The fat liquefies and is easily drained off with either a catheter or a garden hose. You'll lose the weight in less than 20 minutes, and you'll never, ever want to gain it back again.
The HMO No Fat Buster plan will change your life forever.
HMO No. Oh,
no. Because we care about you.
And your pocketbook.
And now, Act 3 of our opera, Adam and Eve. Here is our narrator, Karen Hopkin.
Thank you, darling. In Act 3 of our opera, the little oxygen atom, Adam, devises a clever way for he and his soon-to-be beloved Eve to meet up. Let's join Atom now and listen to his little cogitations.
Oh, an oxygen atom is really quite small. Oh, I'm nano. Why, compared to a woman, I'm nothing at all. Oh, I'm nano. For conventional wooing, I'm not well designed. But so what if my toolkit is underdefined? I've a plan of a rather adventurous kind. Oh, I'm nano. She inhales lots of oxygen with every breath. Oh, I'm nano. And if she hyperventilates, she'll cause my death. Oh, I'm nano. But if she breathes in softly, I'll go with the flow. Diffuse in through a lung, and then next thing you know, hooked on a fresh hemoglobin, a riding I'll go. Oh, I'm nano. Sitting in a red blood cell, I'll zip through a vein. Oh, I'm nano. And the bloodstream will carry me straight to her brain. Oh, I'm nano. Once inside her cerebrum, who knows what I'll find? If I'm lucky, a place to relax and unwind. See, the main thing I hope is she'll keep me in mind.
Economics Prize. This year's Ig Nobel Economics Prize is awarded to Karl Schwarzler and the nation of Liechtenstein for making it possible to rent the entire country for corporate conventions, weddings, bar mitzvahs, and other gatherings.
Thank you very much on behalf of my colleagues in Liechtenstein and nano country Liechtenstein. This is about everything you see there. It's only 61 square miles and we have 80% mountains. It's a beautiful country and yeah, you can rent it. So come and see us. Or check our website, rentavillage.com, where you see what you will see there. Thank you very much.
And now it's time for the Win a Date with a Nobel Laureate contest. And here's Karen Hopkin to tell us about our laureate.
Thank you, Cupcake. Dashing, dreamy, and quite the tasty dish. This year's Win-A-Date prize is our own Dr. Rich. Rich Roberts, that is. A right-handed vegetarian with an aversion to Parmesan cheese, Rich is a Nobel laureate in physiology or medicine. And he was Dr. December in the 1997 Stud Muffins of Science calendar. Rich enjoys splicing jeans, doing the Sunday crossword, and engaging in the occasional game of snooker. Just think, tonight, he could be all yours. give a warm win-a-date welcome to Nobel stud muffin, Rich Roberts.
Now, let's see which lucky audience member will win a date with this Nobel laureate. When you entered the hall, the ushers handed you an attractive printed program. Pick it up and turn to page 6. One program has a special picture there of German physicist Werner Heisenberg looking confused. If you have the program with that picture, then you have won a date with this Nobel laureate. Come on up and claim your prize. In our audience tonight is Dr. Stephen Wolfram, who these days is often in the Boston area. Stephen Wolfram is the most revolutionary scientist since Isaac Newton. That's according to many people, including even Dr. Wolfram. Dr. Wolfram, would you mind standing up and waving a book so we can see you? Do we have the lights on? That book, of course, is Dr. Wolfram's famous book, A New Kind of Science, which is 1,200 pages long. Dr. Wolfram has kindly offered something wonderful. One lucky audience member will get to share a cup of tea with Stephen Wolfram, over which he will explain his book to you. Please pick up your program, turn to page 23. One program has a special picture there of Stephen Wolfram standing on the shoulders of a giant statue of Isaac Newton. If you have the program with that picture, then you've won a cup of tea with Stephen Wolfram. At the end of the ceremony, just come on up here on the stage at that time. The Ig Nobel Interdisciplinary Research Prize. The Interdisciplinary Research Prize is awarded to Stefano Ghirlanda, Liselott Jansen, and Magnus Enquist of Stockholm University for their inevitable report, Chickens Prefer Beautiful Humans. All three authors are with us tonight.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. I made a lot of false starts on this acceptance speech, but then I realized that perhaps nothing intelligent is expected. So I want just to thank our animals and everyone who supported our research, including our families, universities, my mother who could come, my girlfriend who couldn't come, and everyone else. Thank you.
We do not have a demonstration. Will the nanolithographers bar the doors? It's time for the second and final group of nano lectures. The next nano lecture will be delivered by Genevieve Reynolds, a senior at Harvard College. Her topic, education. First, a complete technical summary in 24 seconds. On your mark, get set, go.
Education, learning to remember, but a whole lot more. Sensory integration, processing proprioceptive feedback, learning to build neural networks, complex enough to handle complex thought, auditing sensory feedback, learning what you need to know. Do you need to study that page? I don't think so. And a whole lot of acronyms. We have SUPs, we have SIPs, we have underperforming schools. It's really all about learning to remember the acronyms.
And now, a clear summary that anyone can understand in 7 words. On your mark, get set, go.
Harvard University taught me that learning is...
The final nano lecture will be delivered by Dr. Eric Lander, the founder and director of the Whitehead Institute, MIT Center for Genome Research, director of the Broad Institute, one of the key pioneers in mapping and sequencing the entire human genome. His topic, the genome. First, a complete technical description in 24 seconds. On your mark, get set, go!
Human Genome Project, biology's moonshot, 15 years, 6 countries, 20 centers, $3 billion, 3 billion letters. $1 per letter, such a deal, 23 chromosomes. Supposed to contain 100,000 genes, turns out to contain 30,000 genes, maybe 25,000, could be 40,000, check back with this next year. Supposed to have the answer to everything, absolutely everything. Diabetes, asthma, cancer, evolution, populations, migration, life, death, taxes, even the Boston Red Sox. Only problem is, no index.
And now, a clear summary that anyone can understand in 7 words. On your mark, get set, go.
Genome, bought the book, hard to read.
The Peace Prize. The Ig Nobel Peace Prize is awarded to Lal Bihari of Uttar Pradesh, India, for a triple accomplishment. First, for leading an active life, even though he has been declared legally dead. Second, for waging a lively posthumous campaign against bureaucratic inertia and greedy relatives. And third, for creating the Association of Dead People. Accepting on behalf of Lal Bihari, here is Madhu Kapoor. And before she begins speaking, I would like to explain, we thought until 2 days ago we were going to have Lal Bihari here. Friends in India managed somehow to get a passport for him on Friday. All that remained at that point to get him here, and somebody was going to pay for his trip, all that remained was for the embassy in Mumbai to give the United States Embassy in Mumbai to give him a visa, but they denied him a visa. And so here, accepting on his behalf, reading a speech written by Lal Bihari, is Madhu Kapoor.
For the first time in the world, living people are honoring the living dead. Lal Bihari died in 1976, but he is feeling much better. When he was just a teenager, his unscrupulous uncles found a clever way to steal his family property. To his surprise, they had him declared legally dead. Being deceased, he could not get a job or any government help or even a court hearing. He couldn't even get arrested. To draw attention to his plight, he engaged in a variety of protests, including a run for the office. In 1994, he succeeded in his plight to be declared alive. Since then, he has continued to struggle for the rights for all the living dead in India. Lal Bihari recently wrote, "People used to mock me and call me ghost, dead man. My inner strength was awakened, and to keep my self-respect, I added dead to my name. I believe that 75% of the people are spiritually dead. With all the best wishes and many, many thanks, Mritik Lal Bihari." This is for Lal Bihari. We thank him, and we are making an international film on him.
The Biology Prize. This is the final prize of the evening. The Ig Nobel Biology Prize is awarded to C.W. Moliker of Nature Museum, Rotterdam, the Netherlands, for documenting the first scientifically recorded case of homosexual necrophilia in the mallard duck.
Thank you. Quiet. Thank you very much for this award. Let me explain what I reported on. I saw 2 mallards. That's a duck like this, in case you're not ornithologists. The thing is, both were of the male sex, and one of them was dead. It had hit the facade of the Natural History Museum Rotterdam, where I work as a curator. The living duck mounted the corpse and raped it for more than 1 hour. Then I couldn't stand it any longer. I collected the duck, dissected it, and indeed, it was of the male sex. Nobody had ever seen and reported this behavior in mallards. I did, and probably that's why I'm here. Thank you very much.
We have a demonstration. I'm afraid that the V-chip monitor has called off our demonstration. And now, the final act of the opera, Adam and Eve. Here is our narrator, Karen Hopkin.
When we last saw little Adam, he was hoping that Eve would suck him into her lungs, where he would then enter her bloodstream and travel to her brain. Alas, Eve was so excited that she hyperventilated, so that plan turned out to be a no-brainer. Here, in the final act of our opera, science will come to the rescue. The physics community, in a great triumph, has just figured out how to make a Bose-Einstein condensate. In a Bose-Einstein condensate, a huge number of atoms are cooled using laser beams to a temperature that is staggeringly cold. When that happens, as predicted by the theories of Satyendranath Bose and Albert Einstein in the year 1926, when that happens, all the atoms suddenly behave as if they are a single, gigantic atom. Let's watch as the scientists transform our little atom into a huge, handsome Bose-Einstein condensate.
We cooled some atoms with laser beams, with physics way above the stuff of missile defender streams. The atoms conflate into one great big Bose-Einstein condensate. We'll do it now for love. We'll take this atom who's unfulfilled, give him the wherewithal that's firmly cool and a massive build, put him in a state to consummate his Bose-Einstein dinner date. Turn on the lasers now, each tuned to a special frequency, a color, a potent piquancy. And now watch us create a serviceable atomic condensate. H-O-G-O, wow. This atom has now been redefined in something resembling humankind. We've made a man of him. Well, technically speaking, more a synonym.
Yes, my little atom has grown up and come to stay. He'll never go away. I'll see him every day.
No, your little atom's big day is a little blip. 'Cause when we turn the lasers off, he zip.
Oh my!
The best we can suggest is something we can do to you. You too can condense, but that's a bit intense.
Let's turn me into one single tiny molecule. A molecule that's really cool. Yes, 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 yes. Please condense me now, 'cause if you don't, you'll incense me now.
You heard her, sir. Let's condense her now. What joie de vivre. Goodbye now, Eve. Now turn off all these laser beams. This atom seems just the type who screams. A little love is a lovely sight, but love this light just isn't right.
And now Miriam Bloom will deliver the traditional Ig Nobel Goodbye, Goodbye speech.
Goodbye, goodbye.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us honor all of the people who put this ceremony together. Would the Ig Nobel Prize winners and the Nobel laureates please gather at center stage for a pointless photo opportunity? If you would please face to the rear of the stage. Okay. All right, everybody, whack your hands together, shower them with self-esteem. Now, if you could turn around and face the front briefly. Turn around, please, turn around. You'll never see this sight again. Join us Saturday afternoon at MIT when the new winners will give free public talks. Saturday afternoon at MIT, free public talks, all the winners, where they will explain, if they can, what they did and why they did it. Now, on behalf of the Harvard-Radcliffe Science Fiction Association and the Harvard Computer Society and the Harvard-Radcliffe Society of Physics students, especially from all of us at the Annals of Improbable Research, please remember this final thought. If you didn't win an Ig Nobel Prize this year, And especially if you did, better luck next year. Thank you.